All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Are there any citizens here to discuss anything that is not on the agenda? Okay, got past that. Any amendments to the agenda?
Nope, but I would like to just introduce an associate with Nina's firm over here, Michaela Salida, who's here today. She's doing some trainings actually for some of the other commissions and able to join us this evening.
Awesome.
Welcome.
Welcome. Yeah, we're happy you're here. Okay, well, let's open the public hearing then. We have one conditional use application for Valley to Valley Senior Care Center located at 1040 I Street. Tommy, take it away.
So we're going to talk about we good?
Good.
We're going to talk about a conditional use permit for the Valley to Valley Adult Daycare Center. We have plenty of representatives from the organization over here.
Great.
Bill, can I have a slide, please? Thank you. Just some general information. The applicant is Valley to Valley Senior Care Center. Really, the 1040 I Street is zoned R2 medium density residential. They're requesting a conditional use permit for an adult day center.
Hey, Tommy,
Yes.
hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Got a note from Greg that he cannot hear us. Let's see what's going on with that. Let's see if I can.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Okay. Well, let me see. It's showing this is muted. Let me double check 1 second with the box.
Greg, can you hear us now?
Should be coming from that one.
Yeah, so like basically all these
All these
go through here. Does he have his speakers turned up?
Dan, was this is from last meeting, right? This is the minutes I think we just approved. Yeah. Was that what it was before? Or was that
Yes.
change? The 25%.
Keep knocking. Yeah, because they wanted to
Greg,
increase
can you
it to
hear us?
50.
This also.
Who wanted to increase it?
I think that was the original proposal.
What's
and
50?
He is.
That was the proposal they came with, and I think we voted that down and said keep it at 25.
Right.
Should be hearing us.
So we'll see.
Oh, you know what? Okay, Greg, can you hear us now?
Hey guys, gotcha.
Okay.
Is that a yes, we're good?
I think we're
Yep.
good. Greg, can you hear us?
Yep, gotcha.
Perfect.
Great.
Okay.
Is Greg also, is this Greg Fillet?
Yeah,
Was he voting?
probably.
All right, continue,
He
Tom.
did.
It's a long
Thanks, sir.
story. I'll tell you later when the microphones are off.
The
Okay.
applicant is the Valley to Valley Senior Center. The location is zoned R2 medium density residential. They're applying for a conditional use permit for an adult daycare center, and it is the previous site of the old Montessori school before they moved into their new one earlier in the year. Next slide, please, Bill. There we go. So just to make sure that complying, we're doing it correctly, all the noticing was done appropriately, the fees have been paid, public hearing is being held just now, and the job of the commission is just to make sure findings are proposed are consistent with the comprehensive plan, the land use code, and just ensure that it's an appropriate use. That's my summation for you. The general conditional use approval criteria is that it's appropriate location. It's not going to disrupt or harm the neighbors or in the immediate vicinity. Shouldn't cause any undue traffic congestions, anything like that. The operating characteristics shouldn't cause a nuisance. And there should be adequate public facilities in place, and it shouldn't cause any significant. I did not like that. It's not a great day for the sound. And the use should not have any significant deterioration to water resources, wetlands, wildlife habitat, etc., etc. Next slide, please, Bill. And the use-specific standards for an adult daycare center are in addition to the minimum numbers of parking spaces required, they should have at least one parking space for non-resident staff, one designated off-street parking space for every 4 clients. The facility shall be licensed by the state and comply with all applicable state codes, and the hours of operation for the daycare may be restricted in residential neighborhoods, which it are, but then they're proposing to have it just open from 8 to 5. I received one public comment. You have a copy of that in front of you. This was the only public comments we got from anything. It was just this one in support of it. And staff recommends approval with the conditions that we'll outline in the next slide for the adult daycare center to be located at 1040I. And there's your motion. Just the conditions we're going to see are they have to have the appropriate amount of parking spaces. The facility has to be licensed and comply with state requirements, and the hours of operation of the facility will be limited from 7 to 6, which is an hour either side of what they're proposing to be open anyway. And that's all I have for you.
Okay. Commissioners, does anyone have a question for staff?
I do have a question. What's with the parking space requirement? Like, kind of, do we care? What if they had 4 parking spaces? Where's that 4 clients per parking space coming from, our code?
Yes, that's is a specific requirement for the use type there. That's directly from the code, yeah.
You'll get a chance.
I guess
Yeah.
that's fine. I
That's-
don't have a problem with it. I was like, could we make it looser? And I think the answer is no. From our
Not
without
going through the variance process.
Okay.
We need to-
answers my question. Thank you.
Very good. Anyone else have a question for staff? Aaron?
Just have to refresh my memory. Does a conditional use permit have like a time-bound
You
piece, or is this just forever they're allowed to do this?
you could put a condition on it if you'd like to, and I believe there's something in the code that if someone complains within a year, we can revoke it.
Generally, it's good for 1 year, and we would generally bring this back for review after a year to ensure that it is working as intended. At which point, if there were issues, we could revisit the conditions. And then at that point, you'd be able to actually extend it for whatever period of time, really, the body chose. So
Bill, in the new code, is that coming back to commission, or would that be an administrative?
that would come back to planning commission, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions for staff? Any?
Aaron, well,
Aaron?
Well, I also find the parking thing confusing. Like, does this mean that there can only have 20 clients?
Right now, yeah, they just have, yes. By the
So if
letter of the code.
they 21, we're full, we're maxed.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you for articulating that more clearly. That was kind of my
Yeah, all they need to do is get another parking space,
Okay.
you know?
Well,
And
no, but that's stupid.
I didn't write it, man.
Kind of going down a rabbit hole here. Let's.
But the
keep
code
it-
limits
yeah.
them to the parking spaces that are on site, which limits them to 20 people. Thank you.
Yes.
And it can be met through other potential means. Off-site parking leases, for instance, is an allowable
Okay, great.
factor.
Along those lines,
Hmm?
does number 3 also come from the code, or how are those hours determined?
The it says it's in residential areas, we probably want to limit the hours of use for this particular use. So it didn't come directly from the code, the actual times. It was just, they stated operating hours, and I gave them an hour on either side.
Okay, so those were submitted by the applicant and you added
An hour
an
to
extra
this.
hour just for a little extra leeway?
Yeah.
Great, okay.
Anybody else? Questions for staff? Okay, seeing none, we'll give the applicant a chance to make a presentation or comment. Is there an applicant here that would like to make a presentation?
Certainly don't have to.
Someone from
We have
Valley to Valley?
No public comment.
Yes.
They might not know that, though.
Yeah. There will be, thank you, there will be public comment as well if you just have a comment. But if there's an applicant here that would like to present something on behalf of Valley to Valley, this would be your opportunity. Okay. All right then, we will,
Can I ask a question on those lines?
okay, we will have public comment here in just a moment, okay? Okay, so let's go ahead and have that public comment since no one is here to make a presentation, and then we'll close the public hearing. So is there anybody signed up?
No, ma'am.
Okay, if you want to bring the sheet up here, we'll just take the comment and make a note of the names since we're a little casual tonight. Okay, Dan, would you mind? Let's see, I'll do it. Okay, so if any of you have a comment, please come up to the microphone and state your comment or your question. We won't respond directly to you, but we will respond in our discussion. And state your name, please.
Rodney Wilson.
I'm sorry,
Rodney Wilson.
Wilson?
So the question I have or comment is, if we do this for 1 year, then do we have to go through the whole process that we've went through so far again next year and the same amount of money?
I am looking up the language of the new
Okay.
code on this
Well,
one.
we're
since
going
this-
to-
We literally just got a new code a couple months ago, and there have been a few changes to the language, and so I'm clarifying that on
Thank you,
the
Bill.
back end. So, okay, under 16850, which is development permits and approvals, including conditional use approval, it does say that within 1 year period, the permit holder must either obtain a site plan approval, begin construction, or establish the land use authorized by the conditional use approval, including any conditions attached to the conditional use approval. I have no concerns that they'll be able to meet that.
Right.
It does say, once a conditional use is established, the conditional use approval shall not expire. That is a change from
Okay, so that's new.
previous code.
Good, that's
It
great.
does go on to say, however, any discontinuance of the use for a period of 1 year for any reason shall result in an automatic expiration of the approval unless otherwise provided in the permit. And then lastly, it says the approval of a conditional use may or may not identify an initial term for the conditional use. So I believe that actually gives this body some flexibility if you wanted to put a term on it beyond what it said earlier in regards to it not expiring. It says upon expiration of the term, if the permit is so limited, the conditional use approval shall automatically expire unless an extension is granted. So you can choose as this body whether to put in a specific term on it or not. Otherwise, there will be no term.
Sure, and as I understand conditional use, if there is a complaint or problem, it would come back somehow to address that as a separate matter. Is that correct?
That is my understanding. There is a revocation section that does identify violation of terms and conditions and other city codes. I'm just reading through this real quick. Sorry about that.
It's all right.
They do have an opportunity to correct any issues within 30 days that may come up that are considered to be violations. So, basically, as long as you're not violating any other city code and none of the conditions that are levied up onto the approval, then you're probably good to go.
Okay.
So to answer your question, we'll not need to come back for a new application. Should the body put a term to come back, that would not be something that you'd be paying for. It'd be just an opportunity to kind of check back in. But that's entirely up to Planning Commission if they want to do that. Otherwise, it'll be no expiration on it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Mr. Wilson. Is there
Thank you
anybody else who has a question or come on up?
Helping
And
us
state your
clarify.
name clearly so I can write it down. Whoops, careful.
Then you don't have a cane in the middle. I'm Eve Braden.
I'm sorry, say your name again?
I'm Eve
There you go.
Braden,
Eve Braden, right? Okay, great.
and I'm the EO. So my question is, if we have an evening event, we can't have them if it's after 6 at night? Can we have a social that maybe is a dinner versus during the day, or has that got to go through all this all over again?
No, an occasional event such as that wouldn't, unless it qualifies as a special event where there might be a liquor license or something along those lines.
Oh, there's no way there's liquor.
Involved. That is considered like an anomalous event, not part of the typical operation of the facilities. If it were something that you were doing on a regular basis and we heard some complaints about, that's when we may need to intervene.
Okay, because we've only been here 21 years,
Right.
Sure.
and we're doing the same thing in a bigger location.
So,
Got it?
so
Okay.
if I might ask you a question, approximately how many events other in evening have you had at your old location, or would you anticipate at this location?
Three
3 per
year?
year? Okay. Thank you.
But like we have this weekend coming up to try and make up for 3 months of not being able to have seniors in the center. We're doing a hot dog fundraiser Saturday. That's not Monday through Friday. That shouldn't make a difference, should it?
No, as long as it's, I think, we'll take that up when we have our discussion, but, I really can't imagine that being a problem. We may
Good.
make some change in the motion. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Is there anyone else that wants to speak? Now is the time. Once I close the public hearing, it's all over.
I'm Bonnie McDonald, and I'm actually a neighbor, and I am so excited about having a senior daycare here. I think Salida has needed one, and we've been able to support this one for 20-some years. It's exciting to see it in a better and bigger location. I did have one question. I noticed that the Montessori school doesn't have much parking, that they're parking in a church parking lot. Did they get a variance to?
That's not something we're discussing tonight.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Thank
That's
you.
all. I just was curious what
It's a good question.
difference was.
Bonnie, I can talk to you about that offline.
Yep.
So,
Thank
Bill
you.
can answer your question later.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you. Uh-huh. Who's next? Okay.
My name is Chris Law. I am here in support of the neighbor-to-neighbor program, what they're trying to do. And as I get a little older, I start appreciating more of people that are stepping in and helping these people out. So I just think it's just a wonderful asset, and I hope there's no opposition to it.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate
you.
your comment. Anyone else? Okay.
Now you got the ball rolling. Now you got the ball rolling.
I know.
My name is Rebecca Wilson. I am the registered nurse that works with Valley to Valley. Didn't state anything prior, but I feel like now is a good time. With the facility the way it is right now, the state does require that there be a handicap accessible restroom for every 6 individuals that we're supporting. So with the configuration of the building, without having to undergo major construction into concrete, things of that nature, we can support 24 clients. That's the cap. Most of those will be delivered and dropped off either by family members or gathered by our van and brought to and from the facility. So you're looking at, day in, day out, 3 or 4 employee vehicles being parked, the van stopping, dropping people off and coming back. We've been working diligently on the property to improve the interior and the exterior, and my husband and I have had numerous opportunities to visit with neighbors and invite them in when they ask questions so they can see exactly what it is we're doing. And they all express excitement that we're going to be in their neighborhood and willingness to spread the word at which time it's appropriate to get those that need help in so that we can provide that assistance.
Thank you. Thanks for the information. That was one of the questions I had. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes?
Good evening, I'm Terry Gillette. I'm on the board as a vice president, and I also work closely with them as a representative through the American Legion. I'm a district commander for them, and that's kind of what's drawn me into this, because not only are they able to accommodate seniors, they're able to accommodate senior veterans, and the funding through the VA will cover that expense.
Great.
So, I mean, there's some bigger facilities to the south, but there's nothing in this area to really accommodate veterans' needs, especially senior and handicap, and this would really be a huge win for us. So we're really looking forward to it.
Mr. Gillette, thank you so much for your comment. Anyone else? Nope. Is there anyone online that wants to make a comment?
Nope.
Commissioners, do you have any questions for any of these applicants before we go into commissioner discussion? Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, you do?
guess I do.
Yeah. Is it discussion or is it for them?
I mean, my question is the applicant also okay with items number 1 and 3 in this recommendation, or would the applicant prefer any changes to that? 1 says a maximum of 20 clients, and 3 says limited to the hours of 7 a.m. to 6 p.m.
We can talk about the number of clients in commissioner.
Yeah, but
No, good question. Yeah.
The hours, as they are stated, are just as your representative here stated earlier, an hour prior and an hour after the normal hours that we operate Monday through Friday. We did get clarification from you about an occasional event. So I don't think I have any objection to that, any question about that. Number 1, I would ask that that be changed to 24, which would require 6 parking places, which is what the building in its capacity is able to care for. That way, those 2 things would be aligned. There is ample parking for 6 vehicles in front of the building there on 11th. There is also parking, I believe, 3 spaces there on I Street to the side of the front entrance of the building.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for the clarification. Any other questions for the
I
applicant?
mean, I guess, when I asked half a question, do I do that now, or do you want me to wait for
Let's
discussion?
wait.
Okay.
Discuss, yeah. Okay, well, let's close the public comment, and we'll go into commissioner discussion, and we may have some questions for staff. I think, Dan?
I mean, frankly, I think this is a no-brainer, and I will say, as someone who lives across from the current Valley to Valley Center, like, great neighbors, recommend, A+. Like, staff, can we agree with cap of 24 here? Like, I think we just want to make sure things align, and
Right.
it's simple, and we don't have to come back and do this in a year if everything's just going swimmingly.
Yeah, agreed.
Yep.
If there's a parking requirement.
So as I understand it, there are 10 parking places on the site, correct? And so where did we come, so I'm not sure where we came up with 5 for clients. Could it be 6 and raise it to 24? And then 4 others for staff?
It's, oh, you go, Brent.
So
So I'm going to pull it up
Okay.
here where that's coming from in the code. Give me just a second, try to increase
Yeah.
the size here. All right, so under 16330C1, adult daycare, specifically where that's coming from is this particular clause right here. It says, "One designated off-street drop-off pickup space shall be provided for every client and for every 4 clients, and shall be available during operating hours for loading and unloading of children and clients." So going back to, excuse me, going back to the condition, the applicant shall be limited to 4 clients per parking space above the base requirement of 5 parking spaces, which is currently 5 permitting 20 clients. So it's a combination of this particular clause and the, excuse me, I'm gonna have to go find it here for a second, the off-street parking requirements.
500 square feet.
Which is right here. So on the site, as far as a permanent parking, it requires 1 per 500 square feet. The calculation came out to just under 2,500 square feet or 5 spaces. So that's 5 permanent spaces that are required. And then you have the other one, which I apparently just moved from, requiring 1 space per 4 clients. Or was that again, 16330, right?
16330C.
So, Bill, you mentioned that there's a potential for a variance. What is the process for a variance if we wanted to increase that cap? As the applicant has indicated, their clients don't drive, they're picked up and dropped off there.
Well, we don't love to do variances, and there's a very specific 4 criteria it has to meet, and I don't know, anyway, appreciate your question, but I'm just wondering to that, whether we can just say on number 1, the applicant can be limited to 4 clients per parking space above the base requirement, and leave it at that and take out the 20. Because if they have more parking spaces available, or we could say up to a maximum of 24 clients.
We can change the language on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that way they're covered for the
I'd prefer
24
not
that they
to-
want.
Like, I would prefer not to put a maximum on their clientele, because that's not our role. Like,
Well,
that's
that's what
a
they-
health thing.
Right, but that's what they.
But what if they change the handicap restroom ratio and they can have 25 all of a sudden? I don't want us to.
Good point.
You could just take out the currently part,
Agree, if we can delete some words and make it simple, that seems great.
Yeah.
and then if they
You
come up
just
with another
take out
parking
the
space later.
currently
that's-
permitting 20 clients,
Mhm.
and we've got it.
Just take out that last sentence.
Because it
The
says
last piece,
4
yeah.
clients per parking space above the base
Yeah.
requirements of 5, period.
Yeah, there we go.
Does that work?
Take out the last 5 words.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think those are necessary, yeah.
So we could just eliminate that particular section right there.
Eliminate, we're suggesting, the commission is suggesting eliminating those words, currently 5 permitting 20. Right?
I mean,
Is that right?
I'd make a radical suggestion that we don't even need that. I mean, they have to meet the conditions of the conditional use part of the code, and there's a lot in the code that is not in the motion. It seems like what needs to go in the motion is interpretations of the code or things that are pertinent to the conditional use. If it's just part of the code, I don't think it needs to be repeated here, right? We're giving them a conditional use permit. We've decided it meets the code. They need to meet the state licensing, which is not part of our code, and we're changing the hours. So the last 2 seem the important ones for me to include because they're deviations from our code. If the rest is in compliance, then that's our determination as a commission.
Yeah, I think the critical part, and it sounds like is ensuring compatibility with the neighborhood, at least with this particular use.
Yeah.
And traffic, frankly, is probably the biggest potential impact on the neighborhood,
Yeah.
traffic and parking. And from my kids were one of the first classes in the old Montessori school. I can tell you it was a lot busier than this will be.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I guess I hear what you're saying, and I just wonder though if, it doesn't do any harm to leave number 1 in, remove the words that we identify were not necessary for clarification, so that when the But it's because when we do make a motion, if these things are in there, no, I mean, we were having trouble going back and forth to the code. It just makes it more clear. That would be my only thought on that.
If Francine, I think, Aaron, I think you have a great point, because I think we do get motions in front of us that already meet the code, and I do think these motions confuse things unnecessarily. We end up discussing things that are, they're in the code.
Why do we restate this?
You know, like, and I think that may be a broader conversation for us as a, that's a broader level, but I think it's a
Yeah.
good point.
Yeah. But it doesn't do any harm to leave it in on that, if we take out the 20.
It doesn't do any harm, but what happens to the next motion? Like, I'm kind of curious, where do we come up with items 1 through 3 here? And when we
Well,
get
it's from the code.
when we get the next
Yeah.
motion, how do we have 1 through 3? Do we have 1 through 4?
My comment, and I think I agree with Kenny and Aaron on this, is, one is maybe a little superfluous. I mean, that's more of a finding that there's a limit based on parking spaces. I don't know that it needs to be spelled out what that limit is. That's a little bit on staff. I think the applicants are very clear on what their requirements are and what their capacities are going to be. That's,
Staff, do you have any comment on that, on whether that's important? And maybe our legal representative could weigh in on that as well.
I mean, I think what's important is to know that there is a base requirement for the use of 5 parking spaces based off of the square footage. And then the code requires 1 parking space per 4 clients. So above that, above the initial 5. So they can do the math.
Right.
To figure out
So staff doesn't have any
how they're-
objection to removing that condition? Okay. So I'd like for the commissioners to also weigh in on the idea that we might add a condition or some language about allowing special events, 3 per year, or however many you decide, or just a vague amount, occasional Saturdays or evenings.
in quick clarification, actually, from staff on that, the Monday, is that Monday through Friday, is that 7 days
Yes.
a week?
Yes.
In the condition?
Yes.
So it doesn't necessarily have, they're already okay to do weekend
Well, they're okay to do 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, but what I'm saying is, do we want to add
No, I
anything?
think it's Sunday through Saturday.
Point of
I was
order,
doing
think
Monday
it's
through Sunday.
full.
Oh, Monday through Sunday?
Yeah, that was
Okay.
my question.
Okay, good point, thank you. So evenings? Does it matter?
I'm not opposed to having an allowance for evening events. I think that's, per Bill's comment earlier, that these are considered anomalous events, as long as it's not like a rave or something like that. Sorry.
Doubt that is. Right, sign us up,
It's
right?
an anomalous event. They're not charging I mean, I'm pretty okay with staff's statement
So
on that.
commission doesn't feel a need to add anything in there for that? Okay, great. Any other comments before we entertain a motion?
Okay, you want me to make a motion?
I'd love you to make a motion.
I make a motion to approve the conditional use application for an adult daycare center located within the medium-density residential district, R2, at 1040 I Street with the following conditions. Number 1, the applicant shall be limited, no, we're not.
Removing number 1.
We're removing number 1. New number 1, the facility shall be licensed by the state and comply with all applicable state codes. And number 2, the hours of operation of the facility will be limited to 7 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Second.
Kenny? Okay, a motion and a second.
Okay,
Any
vote.
other discussion?
Okay,
Okay,
Foley,
Yes.
Bomer,
yes.
Derwington,
Yes.
Bush,
Yes.
Layton,
Yes.
Reimer.
Yes.
Motion passes. I'm sorry, yeah, okay, there we go.
Yeah.
And Laura, I don't think we have your,
No, we didn't have
Vote
Laura, we
tonight, so.
didn't need Laura to vote. Yeah,
okay, motion passes.
but we thank her for being here.
Yeah.
All right, congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank you
congrats.
all.
Yeah.
Good luck with your
You guys
project.
are good to
Good
go.
luck with your project. I really do agree that it's such a needed thing in our community, so thank you for all the extra effort and time and all of that, so, yes. Oh, walker races. Yeah, I could be a judge.
I'd pay to see that.
The distillery closed the street for.
Right.
Wooden horse races.
All right, let's, if you guys want to take whatever conversation outside so we can wrap up our meeting, that would be great. Are there any updates from staff?
We are still in the process of hiring for the associate planner position, so we'll have an update for you all on that at the very next meeting, if not before. As you probably are aware, with the 5H LLC zoning, that was approved by council for R2 zoning. There has been a petition that's been drawn for that one. And due to a snafu on part of the Mountain Mail, the ordinance did not get published immediately, so there was a bit of a delay on that one, so they weren't able to actually pull that petition and start circulating it until last week. They have until sometime mid-April to collect the requisite number of signatures. Should they do that, it will go back to City Council to determine whether they will repeal that previous decision or if it will be sent on to a special election for the voters. South Arc neighborhood, that went to first reading last week with City Council. Staff did try to quickly anyways summarize what was requested, and then the conditions of this body will have another opportunity to give a presentation at the second reading. You might be aware already that staff is making just one recommendation separate from what Planning Commission had made, and that had to do with the non-income-based workforce housing. We have continued to talk with the owner's representative, and he's been crunching the numbers and feels like the 25% is going to cause significant issues and potentially preclude the project from going forward. So the recommendation was to reduce that to 10%, but we will make it very clear to council that Planning Commission's recommendation was to maintain the 25% plus the other changes that you all had recommended.
And Bill, if I could comment on that I'd like to make it really clear that part of that was a 90-day reserve for workforce.
Yes.
Which seems, to be not such a big stumbling block. If after that, they can sell to anyone. So I really would strongly support our recommendation to council and let them know why we did that.
Yep, absolutely. And of course, that 90-day first right of refusal was on the ordinance originally. You all recommended taking it off of the rentals, which staff supports. It was still the recommendation of the owner's representative after discussing the 90 days with the financing institutions and developers that even with that, it was going to be a struggle, especially for the banks to lend on it. Because of that added restriction. So we took that, and that's what has played into that particular recommendation.
Question on that, what's the trigger on the 90 days, especially for the first sale with new construction? Can they start advertising, or does it have to wait till CO? Can they start marketing it earlier and open that window while they're doing construction before it's finished?
Yeah, I don't think we have defined that. And in all likelihood, that definition is probably going to come through the community guidelines of the Chaffey Housing Authority. And so they'll determine when that is able to start. I wouldn't be surprised if it's able to start prior to CO. Thanks, Ben.
Sorry about that.
To allow them to do some pre-sales. Yeah.
Yeah, and that would make sense. I mean, and that 90-day would really work, especially for that first sale. And thinking about it down the line, you're not going to have a huge tranche of these coming back on the market all at once. So that 90-day really could work for future financing as well. So I tend to agree with Francie that it really could be functional if that first sale can be started to be marketed prior to CO.
And I think as part of our discussion, one of the things was, we understood what the representative was saying, and we understood that it might be a more difficult sell, but that we made promises to the community. We've already reduced the 50% to 33%, and it seemed like this is a promise we could keep and that we should try.
Yeah.
So that, I would like that communicated to council when you go.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're really going to try to put it in the hands of, excuse me, the owner's representative to really explain the rationale behind his recommendation on this, and get into the weeds as necessary around it. Because, I mean, obviously, we all want it to succeed, and we all want it to go forward, and there are time constraints on it. And there's, as one of the counselors said it the other night, we need to get this right the first time. I mean, we already got it wrong the first time in a way. Conditions have changed, but we have the opportunity to fix it now, and we need to get it right because we can't wait another year and have it sit vacant with nothing happening out there for the next year.
Understand.
Yeah.
Any other updates?
Not that I can think of.
I know there's a work session on the 14th.
Yes, yep, we'll have Sursa there, talking about all the fun rules and regs around sunshine laws and everything else. And we'll try to think of something else to occupy your time since you're all going to make it here for that. But yeah, that's always a good one. And Sam Light is going to be doing that particular presentation, and he's always entertaining.
Unfinished.
April 14th?
April 14th. I will be out of town, but I'll watch the video.
Okay. Yeah, if you're not able to make it in person,
Right.
we do ask that
It's,
you watch.
it's important, yeah.
Yeah, I can't be here either, so I
Yeah,
will
watch the video.
enjoy the video.
Yeah.
We'll enjoy it. Popcorn. Any unfinished business?
Can I ask a question?
sure.
I just need to go back to this.
Yeah.
When we are doing a conditional use permit, I read the packet that you gave us all online, all the conditional, compatible, blah, 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 check.
Check.
How do we come up with conditions? Is it just kind of up to your and Tommy's and judgment? Is that, I'm not like asking confrontational. Is it just like, kind of what else do we need here? And I mostly ask because we agreed to eliminate number 1 because it's clearly spelled out in the code. Why do we have to say it again? I kind of also asked the facility, do we need to state that it be licensed? I mean, it seems like a good idea, but.
There's 2 in the code. Okay. Yeah, there's some that don't necessarily need to be restated, and some are used as really a way of reminding the applicant of some of the things they need to
Right.
bear in mind,
Yeah.
because it's there on the decision document. In the case of like number 1's a good example, number 3 is a good example as well, where because it's conditional use, you're really looking at the potential impacts to the neighborhood or to the community in general. And there may be limiting circumstances on site, i.e. they have 10 parking spaces in total shown available. So you often, especially with a conditional use, you tend to show what the limitations are, because it makes it more easy to point to when there are complaints around it, right? There's a specific number everybody's aware of that they're not supposed to go over. And if they do, then they're subject to potentially having that conditional use revoked. So,
I mean, that helps.
Yeah.
For all of us, like, this is a way where we can kind of highlight certain things.
Yeah.
And I just found it interesting that we elected not to say anything about weekend use or anything like
Right.
that. And that's fine. Sometimes strategic ambiguity is fine, but I just
that's a
kind
very,
of.
very good way of putting it.
Yeah, I would say, these things do confuse me, and I think, I would almost suggest if there's things like this, maybe you have a slide up here that says, the applicant has been advised, these are some key findings in the code that we think are relevant to the application.
Yeah.
Or when I get a building permit back from the county, they redline a few of these things. CO detectors always required in bedrooms, or, tempered glass required in this.
right.
Those are in the code, but they stamp it
Yep.
to
Make sure.
because when I read this, I have those same, it brings up why, is this something that I can change? Because I personally think
Yeah.
they could have more people here. It'd be fine with me. I think it's compatible with the neighborhood and everything. So it kind of gives me this inclination to have almost unnecessary discussion.
I feel like this is where the expertise balance comes into play, right? You want to highlight some things, but they're not off the hook for all the other 14 things that aren't listed here.
Right.
So
No, not at all, not at all. And technically, if a neighbor were to say, you know, I think I've counted them up, they actually have more than 20 clients. I mean, they have a good point because it's
Right.
not meeting code.
Right.
In which case, they would need to come back for a variance to increase that or show that they have another parking space, for instance, available on site.
Right.
It's tricky. It is that line between strategic ambiguity
Right.
and really outlining where the limitations are.
Right.
fair enough. Local government is,
And I think depending on the particular application, there might be a reason to highlight that a little bit more. I mean, knowing what we know about this particular application, the parking probably is not as critical, so we don't necessarily have to highlight that.
But I do love Kenny's idea that maybe we should have the applicant has been made aware of A, B, C, D, E, so that it doesn't have to be in a motion, but we have the record to show that they have been made aware of these things in the code. Because honestly, to expect people who, I mean, it's tough for us, for you, I mean, you know, they're gonna, to just read the code, because it's in this section and that section, and how, you know, so I think for a matter of clarification, it's kind of important.
well, and different applicants, I think, are more sophisticated than
Right.
others. I read that, and it seemed like it was pretty casual, let me put it that way. So I don't want to make more work for you guys
Right.
either. So like, I get it, like it flexes a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. Just a note, anything that goes on a presentation and isn't actually in a decision document can't be considered part of the permanent record, especially when we get rid of these recordings after 6 months. So
Right.
it
Does
would need to
rely
be
on the
written
code.
down if it's something that we really want to stick to and hold fast to.
Okay.
And again, that gets to the point where if we see an application for, well, a Montessori school might have a little bit more emphasis on something like the parking, whereas this particular use may
Right.
not. And that's kind of our discretion,
Right.
I think, things that we want to highlight.
So maybe, does this end up just being a separate slide, like, conditions to consider, and then you can leave it up to us to say, number 1, 3, and 7, or something like that, I don't know.
That's kind of what we do.
I mean,
Yeah, right?
it is pretty much, I mean, it's,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
All right, I'm good.
So, Bill, no other updates?
Helpful though, Dan, I appreciate
Yeah,
the discussion.
it is helpful.
I
and
mean,
do-
these were the suggestions, Dan.
Right, there it was.
I will,
2 and 3.
it's, not to, one last thing. It's helpful for me
Sure.
because up until this point, I have always assumed these were above and beyond the code.
Yeah, same.
I have always assumed that these were specific things that
These are
staff
conditions.
is coming up with as using your, because I trust your discretion, like, what does staff see in this that we need to be aware of? So to me, these are the things that
Over and
we
above.
are trying to align ourselves with or considering.
Right.
And that's very different from what I've learned tonight, which is that some of these are just there to reinforce.
It's just an emphasis.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes we hear things and then we say that it must meet with the department heads, you know, I mean, the public works director's requirements, you know, I mean, that's not in the code necessarily, you know, for one, I mean, like a sidewalk, whether they're putting it in or not. So, I mean, there are exceptions, I think, but all this is really good conversation and I appreciate it. And I think we can always learn to do better with these and offer, what I'm hearing the commission say is that, you know, make the list and let us help you sort it out.
Yeah, as you all have,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
And it's, I think, some of these conditions that have been put on decision documents in the past really have been just that, reminders.
Right.
Things that may get overlooked by the applicant on a frequent basis, and we want to make sure that they're down somewhere, so.
Right, and I think that's important, yeah. So, no more updates?
Not that I have.
How about unfinished business?
Nope.
How about new business?
Nope.
Okay, commissioners, this is your chance to comment. Does anyone have a comment? Other than what we've already discussed? Dan's like, keep it.
I don't want you to hit me.
No, I'm not gonna hit
Not hit me, that was a little aggressive. I have no comments,
No
Francine.
comments. Don?
Just any update on the staff search to fill Kristen's former
Yep,
position?
we had interviews last week and hope to make a decision this week.
You're so funny.
Awesome.
I'll probably send it out once we have
Yep.
a decision made.
Great.
Sweet.
Anybody else? Aaron, Laura? No, Kenny? Dan?
I move to adjourn.
Second?
So moved. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you being
There you
here.
go.
Thanks, Francie.
You want to say aye or something?
Oh, yeah. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, come
I think it was assumed. I know.